Shalom, shalom. I am coming to you live from Shofar Mountain. And it's, what is it, about day 4 of this quarantine thing? Let me get this. Oh, that's worse. I think the house is just not level. Makes that picture, whoa! Makes that picture in the back look really slanted. Meanwhile, trying to get me. I should have had this. Hey, Harriet. Good to see you. Shalom, Brother Mark. Shalom. All right. So, I thought, okay, now I'm leaning back. Now I'm going to have to lower this down just a little bit. I thought since we're, a couple of days into this thing, that it would be good to do sort of an update, sort of a check-in with everybody, see how things are going. Hello, Nomad for Life. You're not allowed to go to your beach there in Florida, though, are you, Mr. Coco or Miss? Yas, peace to you, too. Hey, Teresa Jukowitz and Rhonda Microfarmer. Hello from Maine. And I've got some questions I want to ask you all, but I'll let you all, let me see, maybe I should pull this thing in closer so I can read. Lockdown, laugh out loud. Hello, Sister Kate, not believing I got in at the very beginning. I know. Well, I had somebody text me last night and say, was I going to do one last night? And I said, why are you asking? They said, well, you usually do one on a Sunday, and I didn't realize I was even kind of on a schedule. Let me see if I... Wow. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get it a little bit closer. Hey, Shalom. So I can sort of read the comments you're getting because I don't have my assistant tonight. So I've got to do it myself. Shalom, Shalom, Patterson Holmes said, Shalom, Brother Tim. I wanted to ask you guys some questions. I wanted to find out kind of where you guys were. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, following Yeshua, where you guys are in your quarantine situation as far as are things going okay, and what sort of things are you doing with your time, and are you having problems and so on. So that's kind of the point of the video, because Pastor and I are doing just we've got so much here we can do on our property. We aren't bored. Our health is fine right now. We've got plenty of stuff to eat, so I just wanted to check in with y'all. Shalom, Cowboy Rides 2, Ohio. You come and go as we please. No shelter-in-place orders. Boeing factories closed. Way busy on the gardens. Awesome. Praise Yah. Hey, Shamtu Cholet. Shalom, shalom. You're the reason I'm doing this thing tonight. Dollar General is an essential business, so I am working. I believe that, Vicky, because they've got, they carry some of those essential items that people need. And Dollar General is in a lot of small towns where they don't even have a Walmart. They may not even have a grocery store. And so Dollar General, in effect, has become small town Walmart. And I did a video or comments on that, about 6 months ago when we were driving around. We'd go through a town with maybe 200 people. There would be no Walmart, but there would be a Dollar General. So I can believe that. NWA Prepper is working. Full change of clothes, clean and disinfect, then spray my feet as I get in my car to go home. Smart. And Northwest Arkansas Prepper, there are actually some cases in your area, correct? Checking in from Massachusetts. I took leave from work for a couple of months, allowing me to get so much work done. Yeah. So we're going to get into that. Having neighborhood barbecues. No, Brother Tim, no. You're not supposed to be doing that. Social distancing. Yeah, NWA Prepper just north of me. So yeah, it's really important, especially in your area. One good thing about not having to work, I can start cleaning my land and start putting it out on YouTube videos. Yes, you can. People are open to discussions on prepping. I'm a wastewater operator, so I have to go to work. I believe that. Hey, Ashley, Does your facility have showers in it and a place for you to sleep? Because someone was telling us that wastewater people and other utility workers were told they may have to stay there at work. Um, so if you don't mind answering that question, and then I've got to kind of do this. Um, most stores look like a ghost town, but we come and go as we please. That's good. I'm good here partly because of you and Pastor Joe. I've got everything we need and I'm getting the garden in. The only problem I'm having is trying to keep my 82 and 84-year-old parents in. Space Daisy. Yeah, your parents need to not wander around. Good, Vicky. I'm glad to hear that. Be careful of the gas nozzle and sanitize after pumping fuel. We've heard that. I am 45 miles from Seattle, getting ready to move into a tent on my son's backyard. I have no physical contact at that point. Yep, that's what they're saying you need to do. We have an emergency shower and we can sleep in my office. Okay, do you have a place you can prepare food or some way to get food? I'm tired, been bottle feeding abandoned kittens for a little over a week now. Oh, yeah, that would wear you out. Bottle feeding any little animals gets very taxing after a while. All right, so we've had enough intro time. I have some questions for you. Are you keeping up with the numbers of the infected and the sick and those who have passed away worldwide and also in your area? So I'll say it again. Are you keeping up with the numbers of how many people are sick worldwide, how many people are seriously ill, how many people have passed away, etc.? Okay, we've got 2 yeses. I personally do with the camping stove. You're a smart woman, Ashley. You can do a lot. Yes, yes, I'm keeping it. Yes, BK says yes. Sister Amy is keeping me updated. Awesome. Amy Patterson, yes. Okay. Yes. Seattle changing fast all the time. It's true. I think it's important. I think it's worthwhile to do that. Because one historical time. Now I've said this about, different things on my video. I've said being a Torah keeper right now is a historical thing. It is. Some hospitals let staff know that they can go on lockdown and lock us employees inside. See, that's why I wanted to ask that question. Anyway, back to the numbers. It's historical. As a matter of fact, something that you could be doing right now, which actually is sort of important, is keep some sort of daily journal. As an English literature major, one of the things we studied was the plague journals of, I think it was 1666 in London. Might have also been the journals about the fire. There was a huge fire in London.
Ashley Crewson's a guy.
Oh, Ashley, you're a dude? Okay, sorry. No sweat. But anyway, keeping a journal actually helps retroactively. Like what we know about the Spanish flu comes from keeping journals, from newspaper stories, from medical records, and it can help 100 years in the future to look back on when the virus arose and what was done, and people will look into the information that we are recording now, including those numbers. It's also going to be important for you to know the numbers in your area because it will affect things like your travel and supplies and medical care and so on. So good for you guys who are keeping up with that. Are you watching President Trump's daily briefs, the daily conferences that he and the vice president and Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx are doing every day? Nomad for Life. Thanks for holding this stream. I live alone in an apartment. I started journaling. Good job, Silver Stallion. Barbara Anderson, yes. Anybody else? Anybody else watching the presidential briefs? I listened to the highlights. First 20 or so minutes. Yeah. They're also a good source of information for us on things that the federal government is doing for us, on what is going to happen in the country economically. And yeah, I watched the lies. Well, I don't know that they're lying necessarily. Yes, the California governor just shut down the state parks. I get condensed version at the end of the day. That's smart. When I have time. Otherwise, Sister Amory is telling me working so difficult to watch all of them. Yeah, it's going to be hard if you're working because they're usually during the day. But why they're important is because it relates to the medical stuff, it relates to economic stuff, which is important to people because your jobs, the economy, and jobs and benefits and retirement and all of that are linked. So the reason the federal government is looking after medical issues, oh my goodness, there's not a moderator on here, is there?
I'm a moderator and so is Weetree. What do you want?
Is Weetree on there?
Yeah, we're both on here.
Okay, just keep your eyes peeled.
I got this one person I'm watching.
Okay, not only are these things giving medical reports about things like they are announced this week they are going to have some sort of nasal test that they're working on a vaccine that something that Dr. Burke said today was, and it's true, with a flu virus, with the Spanish flu, you had 3 waves of it. A milder wave, a really serious wave, and then a smaller but serious wave, and it went over like an 18-month period. So even though we're assuming that, you know, once we've quarantined ourselves for this time period right here for maybe, hello Healy, shalom, 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 Lynn, hello Michael. What was I saying? 18-month period. Although we're fighting and we're quarantining right now, this may not be the only wave of this virus. As they develop these treatments and they're looking at chloroquine and some other drugs to help treat it, they could have, as they were saying, you know, sort of a curve, like an increase of cases, and they kind of, everyone's quarantining, and so not too many spread, and then the new cases decline. Come fall, it could pick back up again. Without a vaccine, people who didn't get it the first time around would be susceptible to getting it in the second wave, and so on. Because the way a virus works, and I've said this to you guys before, and I will get on to my next topics too, is viruses, you are not curing a virus. It's not bacterial infection and you take an antibiotic and it kills the bacteria. With a virus, it runs the course of the disease, whatever it does, and then it's over. Like when you have a cold, you start with a runny nose and everything, but a cold actually lasts about 21 days long, and then eventually your symptoms subside and your body's defenses have defeated this virus. So you can either have a vaccine before, which would cause your immune system to fight that vaccinated virus. So it's usually a half dead virus or the dead virus. It's introduced into your system, and then your system attacks it, and you develop what's called antibodies. So when you are exposed to the live virus after you've been vaccinated, your body's already ready to defend you, and so you do not get sick. That's how viruses work. And without a vaccine, and they're saying could be up to 18 months, even though people are testing and developing them right now, your body, you only have 2 choices: either avoid that virus, or you are going to get that virus and you are going to go through the life cycle of the virus, which I think is around 21 days, but this one could be longer, including when you first get it and your body's still, you're not even having the symptoms, and then as it grows inside you, you get sicker and sicker, and then your body fights it, and then it either defeats it or the virus defeats you. Those are your 2 options. You either have it and either survive it or die from it, or you avoid getting it at all until a vaccine comes. So the fact that the FedGov's working on it, they've got their hand on it, they've got private organizations trying to develop them. A first, second, and third wave of a virus could all happen before that vaccine comes. And so you may have avoided it this time, but then there could be a second wave in fall, and you'd have to quarantine yourself again, and then again in the next springtime. So all this information is being put out in the daily briefings. In the discussions with the medical people, and the journalists are asking them questions and everything. This is the kind of information that is being out. So it's important. It's also important, like I said, economically, to know what businesses are going to close down, what the federal government is doing to help people whose businesses do shut down. The fact that they've kicked the tax date back to June or July, I forget what it is. I'm going to have to get that light now. You're not going to be able to see me. Give me 2 seconds for a technical adjustment, you guys. Go get yourself a drink or a water or something, and I'll be right back. Not on the highest, right? How do you do that? There. That's not the highest setting. See if I can see myself. That doesn't really make much difference, does it? Okay. Are we sure this thing's even charged up faster? Yeah, that looks kind of spooky. Man, I don't want to have to hold it.
You gotta shine it at yourself from across the room.
Well, I'm trying, but it's not very powerful.
Make it brighter.
You said I can't run it on the highest.
Well, there's like 4 settings.
That's too high. How do you change from one setting to the other?
I'm gonna show you.
Right. 2 more minutes. I will be right back.
Just hold it.
And it gets brighter. Yeah, I don't need it that way, I think I can probably do that. Let's see how that's gonna work. Telling you what, it's like being interrogated myself. Okay, that's a little bright, isn't it, you guys? There, that might help. Okay. All right. It's still pretty bright. Shalom, shalom. Hey, Pharma. Hey, you guys. I'm just trying to do some technical stuff right now, trying to get that lighting better. It was getting so dark in here. I guess we'll just have to see me super pale right now. There you go. Okay, so daily briefs. Are you watching about this virus on other social media? Because there's a lot going on there too. Have you seen things on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, anything like that? That's a question to you all. Hey, UMKC Kanioi 91, shalom. Shalom, Doris. Are you seeing, could use more sun? Oh, hi, all. Okay, am I part of Washington? Could use more sun. Following. Emailed her recently. Shalom, Sister Kate. Shalom, Paula. Paula Joe Davis. A lot of people on Facebook are taking it too far. Nothing. Yeah, I asked them though. I'm not on Facebook anymore. They kicked me off. But I'm curious to know what's being said on social media. Social media is too hysterical lately. Dr. John Campbell is great. I've seen some of his videos. I agree. He's putting out really good information. Hang on. I'm going to scoot that thing back. But that's going to be the last time I adjust that thing for a little while. It's blinding me. Okay. There. Okay. Through government funding, but I am in Canada. I really don't use social media, which is a downfall in times like these. I've been taking daily walks to collect my observation to keep up with the local. Quit TV 5 years ago. They act like it's the end of the world. Yeah, that's one thing about social media right now that's really bad. The social media that I've seen, There's a lot of hysteria and there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation being put out about what the government's doing, um, about what people should be doing. There's also a lot of people just reposting, the social distancing and the couple of rules about washing your hands and so on. I've seen posts where people send in pictures of groups in parks and in subway areas. Um, let's see. What else did I wanted to say about that? There's also some humor going on there, and I will get into that in a minute also. Hey, overall, live in Shalom. I'm not active. Um, Everybody on Facebook is an expert on the topic. That's exactly what I was.
West is in the room.
Hey, West S, Shalom, brother.
And overall living.
West S, are you done with your Boy Scout camp out? People buying foodstuffs and not knowing how to use, store it, or preserve it. That's a thing too, because my next question was going to be, did you prep? Did you prep? I don't say anything anymore. Goofy mindsets locally. Okay. Come on now. Answer the question, guys. Did you prep? Yes. 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 We got evacuated to get quarantined. Really? I believe that, Wes. Yes. Over to Bush. Shalom. Shalom. Yup. Food, oh, plenty? Yes. Rick Harsh, yes.
Barbarian, that's a great name.
Can survive for a year, all four of us. The media isn't calling us preppers, but hoarders now. I didn't need anything except normal weekly bread. Yes. Yes, but I can't quarantine though because there's a nurse in the family. So how long were your preps set up for, and what were you expecting to prep for? We've been quarantined for over 3 weeks, living on our stash. 2 lady homesteaders, Hodge, and you guys, that is a wise decision for y'all anyway. You do not need to be exposed to any of the germs, you ladies. Ready for Tactical Tuesday with PJF on Patreon tomorrow. Having to force myself to eat. Yes. How long were you prepping for? And, for what length of time? I was prepared for this in 2012, then it didn't happen, so I threw my stuff out until 2016 and started over. Just kidding. Anyone can't make it. I started summer 19, recycling old stuff. I didn't know what I was prepping for. 10 years prep for an economic collapse. I prepped for 1 year. 6 months, 3 years, prepared for going back to the 1800s. Because, I know my husband put out several videos where he talked about having food for a year. I know I've put out in my videos that prepping doesn't necessarily have to be tied to an emergency. You can just have preps like grandmothers had their pantry. You can have a garden just so you take pressure off your monthly budget over the summer months, so you don't have to buy squash and tomato and cucumber. Prepping is just more like common sense. And
D-Neck said hello.
who?
D-Neck.
D-Neck. Hey, shalom.
He's kind of in charge of Atlanta.
Wow. Okay. Good job, D-Neck. The Boy Scout motto, the Girl Scout motto was and still are, be prepared. And I think you can say that just by prepping in general, whether you knew you were going to have a flood or a tornado or a snowstorm, or maybe you were going to get laid off from your job, prepping gives you a buffer against any situation happening. And so I think it just made a lot of sense. And if you have a year's worth, better. And if you have 3 years of prepping, better even yet. SHTF doesn't mean zombies jumping over the fence. I went to bed one night a wife and woke up a widow. Thank God we had food put back. Exactly. Would have been proud of my EDC. If this doesn't clear up soon, we will have no summer camp at the BTSR. Right. I know, and that's kind of sad. That was a really pretty place you were at, Wes. In teenager purse now, it's got some more a lifetime prepper. At a temporary location, but have enough for 2 months. We'll start a garden. I've been actively food prepping for 2 months, was passively prepping equipment for a year. And now my wife is 100% on board. A little bit late, but better late than never.
Biddy Boo's here.
Hey, shalom, Biddy Boo. Growing garden for years. Started prepping about 5 years ago. Prep for something along the lines of this, pandemic and EMP. Preps for about a year. Getting things put away was easier last week, but Ohio has gone insane. Closing on a homestead Friday. Nice, D-Neck. Awesome. Okay. So what do you personally think you are going to be short on as this quarantine period goes on? Were you able to prep everything you need, or do you think you're going to come up short for something? I was given a chance to impact in a positive way hundreds of young adults.
From Scotland.
Now I may not get it. Well, Wes, next year, right? Don't worry. Plus your videos. Hi, and milk. Overall living milk. Steve says company. Hi, and bye, Biddy Boo's Homestead. I'm living on my own, and I'm short peeps. Okay? I know I will come up short on something, but I'm not sure what. Potatoes and a riddle.
He's from Scotland.
Yeah, I know Norm's from Scotland. Shalom, Norm. I come a year and a half ago to the Ozarks. Best thing I've done. Family is coming next week. Quarantine them, Doris. Make them sleep out in the yard for 2 weeks. Water. I have no space left. So, D. Joy, how much water do you have now?
All of it.
Biddy Boo, started on my garden yesterday, got fencing up, and so far 50 onions planted and 10 tomato plants and garlic. Good job. And the cool thing, Biddy Boo, about garlic is you plant now, you can harvest next spring. Is that right? And then if you plant in the fall, you can harvest next fall. Like garlic can be done twice a year. Milk. The cow went dry and the kids are drinking the goats dry. I only prep toilet paper and bleach. What do you think you're going to be short, you guys? Animal food. Yep. Got plenty of rice, beans, and spices to last for 3 weeks. Going to be working on canning from the farmer's market soon. Canning, great skill to have. I have to get peppers and other stuff planted tomorrow. Don't you think it's a little early for peppers and tomatoes, though, Biddy Boo? I'm worried about a frost. Gotcha. Seeds. Yep, a leadwood mare. If you don't garden and you don't have plants growing, you're not going to get more seeds. And if you haven't put seeds up, then you might be short seeds. Toilet paper, says Northern Barbarian. Well, I mean, seriously now. When we went through the line at Walmart, the young man who was checking us out kept telling us, we're out of toilet paper in the store, and my family only has 4 rolls left for a family of 4 at home. And I thought, okay, so what is your plan? And then he would laugh and he would say, I guess I'm going to be taking a lot of showers soon. But if you didn't prep paper goods, like paper towels and things, you will run out of them eventually, and then you have to go to whatever your secondary plan was. Not enough water, but 2 blocks from the river. But then you have to go outside, Paula Joe. I'm not saying you can't. Water well. Hey, Wes, not much been working my rear off, okay? I'm still stuck in the matrix working daily in Georgia. Oi, wash your hands a lot. Berkey, yep. Garlic around the roses. I need critter food. Need to get critter food stored up. So, I think probably for us, it might be milk also. My plan was to get the shelf-stable milk that they sell at Walmart. It's called Parmalat, and I've already had it before.
We have some.
Yeah, we have some, but I wanted to get a lot more, and I know how it tastes, and I'm fine with it. Excuse me. And it was out when we went to the store. So our fallback is other milk, like evaporated milk, because we've always got cans of that around. But we do have a long-term plan. I've got 2 goats outside. They're going to kid, and I do know how to milk, and I've milked before, and so we will drink goat milk. And from that secondary source, I can also make yogurt. I can make cheese and so on, because cheese is going to be the next thing that Pastor and I will probably run low on. We eat a lot of it, and you cannot store that for long term. I mean, I suppose you could freeze it, but we don't have a huge freezer. I'm going to run out of oatmeal cookies. I am positive of this. I'm already down to one. Wes, that's funny you say that, because I made quarantine cookies. I have a whole jar of cookies. They're to help our general well-being. Short on temper and patience. Only kidding. We should be good on everything. Excellent. Hey, and that short on temper and patience is no lie, because this is a stressful situation. And so if you find yourself losing your patience or having emotional outbursts, part of it's probably the stress. All right, so, electric generator hand pump ready. Short on butter, maybe, right? I thought about that because the goat milk is not real good for making butter, and so we pre-bought butter. Been working on feed for the animals. So this was something that I was thinking about before, because we have 2 very large dogs and they eat a lot of food. And then I realized, with as many chickens as we have and as many eggs as we get, their food's going to change from, the store-bought bagged food to probably rice with some eggs cracked on it. They'll be fine on that.
We got canned dog food.
And we did. We bought some canned dog food, and we'll extend that out for them. But yeah, they're probably going to be living on rice and eggs for a while. I did not expect white vinegar to be gone from the shelves. Anyone else notice? Okay, so Silver Stallion, I have videos on how to make your own vinegar. It's not that difficult, but you are going to need Bragg's vinegar if you don't have it already, and some apple peels. So if you have apple and Bragg's, you can make your own. Whiskey purifies the soul in moderation. Whiskey, isn't that the interpretation or whatever of whiskey is life water? It calms the nerves, and it also gets you ready for having an operation. Okay. Biddy, I missed that. Sorry. Pickles. Norm Holland, you should make them out of your garden. Hey, Wes, I have no oatmeal cookies at all. We have a few wet wipes. Can still get toilet paper up by me at Ace Hardware. And if you run out of toilet paper, what are you going to do? Because there are sanitation issues there that are really, really important. You cannot, let me put it this way, you will make yourself sick if you wipe your bottom and you do not make sure your hands are clean. You cannot ingest your own waste, or you will make yourself very, very ill. So whatever you do, if you run out of toilet paper, whatever you do, you've got to purify. You've got to use either warm soap and water or something, solution, some sort of cleanser to wash your hands and whatever you're using. Let's say you will make yourself very ill. So I'm not saying toilet paper will last forever. I'm saying you should have a plan for if it runs out and what you are going to do. Substitute for toilet paper is Privy wipes made from flannel. They can be easily washed. There you go. All right. I have some Thrive powdered milk. After we finish off the store-bought, Smart powdered milk is great. Okay, Washington just announced stay-at-home order. Barbara, is that your county? You're talking about Washington, D.C.? You're talking about the state? Thanks to all for the elderberry advice. Greetings, Deborah E. With babies, I bought several dozen cloth diaper inserts. Disposables run out. Exactly. Gosner milk is at the Dollar Tree. It is good when cold. Shalom, Prepper Frog. I'm waiting for another video from you.
You're way behind on the comments.
Oh, I'm way behind. All right. Sorry. Thumbs up. My internet is in and out. Good to see you guys. Shalom. Wow. Well, that's as far as I can go. Chicory root is a good substitute for coffee. It tastes like coffee, but it doesn't have any caffeine. Okay, so I've also noticed online there are some quarantine phrases. There's quarantine crafts. There are people who put up little pictures on Instagram and on Twitter of crafts that they've done while they've been at home quarantining. There are quarantine memes. There is a whole thing on Twitter about corona babies, you know, babies born 9 months from now who have corona in their name. I saw one of the memes I thought was very appropriate. I try not to fall into this, but I am guilty of it. When you're quarantined at home, you wear pajamas all day long. You just don't even change.
My dad drinks Quarantinis at 4.
Right. Pastor Joe's dad let us know today that every day at 4 he has a quarantini. There's a whole thing online on Twitter, again, a meme about your drink, whatever you're going to drink, like a quarantini, your cocktail, and just staying home and watching a movie. Like, what's so bad about that? And then something that the president said today that I think we need to think about is life will be changed by this virus and these quarantines and so on. And one of the things that he brought up, or one of the doctors, somebody on the brief today brought up, we are probably going to be different as a culture as far as washing our hands, touching doorknobs, how we pump our gas, how close we're willing to get to other people. It's probably going to influence our culture for a while after all these things that we've been having to do. It's going to change the way we act. I've been enjoying not having to go anywhere. Biddy Boo, you and I and Pastor and other people do not have any problem with this kind of situation. Make me stay home on my gorgeous land with the animals that I like and make me garden. Oh, darn. If I may ask, Mother, how bad do you think this will get, including the economy? Okay, so I think it's really smart that we are quarantining now. I think that's really important. I think the big cities like New York City and Los Angeles and I think they were saying New Orleans, places with really large populations are going to have some really serious medical stuff happen. I'm not predicting it. I'm not saying, woo, I got my crystal ball and I've looked into it and I know the future. I'm just saying it makes a certain amount of sense that because this is an easily transmissible virus and you are in a location where lots and lots and lots and lots of people, the chances that their cases like New York City is going to be off the chain, I think. And I also think overall governors and people like that are looking right now immediately, but they need to understand that this thing could have more than one wave. And I think we're not really going to see life return to normal for possibly up to 2 years. I think we need to think along those lines and we should plan for that and just be super, super happy if somehow they come up with those therapeutic meds or a vaccine that will make that a lot shorter. There is a North Carolina textile company that are switching over to making masks. Landkeeper, you bring up a really important point there, because there were people online who were saying, why isn't the government producing these masks? Why aren't they being made by our government? And I had to be like, what are you talking about? It's frightening how ignorant people are of how our country actually works. The FedGov doesn't own any factories. I had to write that and be like, the FedGov has no factories. They don't like make cars at the federal level. No, all that stuff is made by private companies, and that's why Oh, you're welcome. No problem, brother. I'm sure you agree with me on that. I'm sure you think the same thing with me on that. But my point is, when World War II happened, and America, up until the point that Pearl Harbor happened, America as a country did not want to join. And so we weren't. We were just, pre Pearl Harbor, our country was just kind of rolling along the way it was rolling along. And then after Pearl Harbor, Roosevelt went to the private companies like Ford and Briggs and Stratton and so on, and said, you're going to stop making cars and you're going to start making tanks and airplanes and all this stuff. And he took those private companies and made legislation that said, they're going to do this for the government, and the government is, somehow had an arrangement, business arrangement with them. And so that's how we were able to produce so much that we did, and we shipped it to our allies, and we helped turn the tide of the war. That's what President Trump is talking about in his briefs when he says, we've pulled in Roche, and we've pulled in, Honeywell, and we've pulled in GM or 3M and Tesla. Company says they're going to, turn what they've been doing now, instead of making those cars and trucks and whatever, they're going to start making the ventilators. And that North Carolina textile factory is going to start making the masks. That's the strength of our country, is the private sector. Those companies that are doing well and have lots of money and have factories and so on, and can be asked to turn from, quit making cars or whatever you normally make, and start making things to benefit the country and help with this virus. And that's what Donald Trump, as the president, he understands that, and he is making that work. And that's why they talk about it so often. It also keeps jobs for the people who work for those companies. All their workers, will still get a paycheck. Is kind of what I'm trying to say. All right. I heard a report that CCP took over the 3M plants there. What is CCP? I know the 3M plants said, yes, we will start making these things for you. I don't know that anyone took over them. It's true, there are more people willing to listen to us now. The Communist Party. No, I don't think that's true. 3M and Honeywell have been in the industry for years. Hazmat, exactly. I think they've had factories where they've produced some of those things, and they've been willing to produce more. Oh, the plants in China. It's possible. I mean, in an emergency, if China's willing to kick out a New York Times reporters and Wall Street Journal reporters, they're probably just as likely to nationalize a factory there. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So, and then another thing that I wanted to ask you guys about, as far as this virus and our life will be changed. What do you guys think is going to be the medical fallout from this virus? What do you think? How is that going to affect our medical stuff in the future? All factories in China are nationalized. All the material comes from China, though. Kepler is all American. Beware of the yellow peril, my grandma. Every plant in China is under the control of the CCP. It is a communist country. There is no private industry in communism. Exactly. But if you're an American country in China operating, then maybe they will take it over. Shalom, Renee. Big deadly superbugs is Joseph Meyer's future medical prediction. What else? What else do you guys think is going to happen? Hopefully more meds made here. I hope it's not socialized medicine. Me too. I don't want socialized medicine. Italy has socialized medicine, and they are not able to respond as quickly as we are. We are headed for a Great Depression, but it will be worse than the other one simply because people have lost the skills. You rent CCP property and equipment, you own nothing. Will Congress force drug makers to move ingredients here, and will we be willing to pay higher prices? It's a good question. Depends on who is in office. That's true. I hope we are less dependent on meds or ingredients and make them here. Too much cleaning. American companies in China are by law majority owned. Okay. Hopefully learn and be better prepared. Okay, so here's what I thought might happen. I think we're going to see these therapeutic meds that they're talking about enter our market. Whatever antiviral drugs or therapeutic medicines that are developed for this virus, I think they're going to be regular stuff, maybe be over the shelf, like Tylenol and Dayquil and NyQuil. And you have to understand about virus meds too, until Tamiflu, I think that's what it's called, until that was developed to fight the flu, there really weren't a lot of meds that would actually affect a virus. Like I said, you just go through it, and what you're treating is your symptoms. Like cold medicines help you not be so achy. They help slow down your coughing. They help dry up your nose. But there really are no medicines that will stop a virus in its tracks. And I'm wondering if we're going to see more research on viruses. Thank you for tonight. It's not... Okay. I think that's it. All right. Someone said elderberry. I think there's already Sambucol is a medicine with elderberry stuff in it, but I think there'll be more research into elderberry meds. We're definitely going to see a vaccine. We're going to see a vaccine developed for this thing because they're going to try to use it to make sure not as many people get sick from it. That is what a vaccine's for. Now, if you're anti-vax, maybe you're going to hate that, but that is what it is for. I think we're going to see some changes in the personal protection equipment also. Because for the medical people, you see them, they put on those gowns and they put on this big mask thing that has a plastic shield over it. I think we're going to see more higher tech kind of things. And then we got to worry about superbugs. Like someone else, Silver Stallion, I think, said superbugs. Major component in Tamiflu is elderberry. I'm trying to think. I did it in one of my videos. Some dirt in some graveyard in England or Scotland, maybe Norm, you know about it, had properties that were either really antibacterial or really antiviral. And so you're going to see researchers out there trying to figure out more. The bubble suits, well, it's time for the force shields. I'm just thinking about when Pastor and I were firefighters, your PPE was that whole bunker coat and bunker pants. And then you also have this weird fireproof neck cowl that you had to put on. And then you put on that helmet and a whole face mask. A Nomex balaclava. And then you had like a self-contained breathing unit. I mean, that was to protect you from fire, but also the poisonous gas around a fire. And I'm thinking they're going to really get high tech on it. Okay, so that was it as far as my question and my comments. What have you guys been doing during your quarantine to keep yourselves busy? That's my last question. Sphagnum moss used to plug bullet cavities in World War I. Sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss is no joke. I've done stuff in my videos on sphagnum moss. It's antibacterial. It's anti-smell, like it absorbs smells. It is very absorbent. And so sphagnum moss is great for, like he said, they put it in bullet wounds. They do all sorts of things with it. Right? Okay, wait. People are talking about what they've been doing. I know I'm off on sphagnum moss. Hang on. I want to see what you guys have been doing. They have silver-laced antibacterial socks or shirts and pants next. I would say the PPE may have it. No needles of vax for me, aborted baby, and all kinds of nonsense in them. Fajaling, you gotta ask about vaccinations because we're not the first people who want to know what the ingredients are. All sorts of Hasidic Jews and Muslims and stuff can't have pork, so I'm sure there'll be like vaccinations for people like us, and also maybe even for vegans. They may say, you know, I don't want any animal products. So we'll see. Okay, so you've been starting up your garden, playing with critters, knitting and spinning. Oh, do a video on that. I want to know how to spin. I just continue doing what I do every day, planting, prepping, making bread lately, and learning. I don't get to lay out of work, so same old, gardening and walking. It's the real deal, darling. Yes, it is. Chopping Scotch broom. Are you feeding it to your goats, Joseph Meyer? Getting house ready to sell and packing. Yay! Yay! Sister is in quarantine and has me just a running back and forth to the camper. Okay. Sorting and inventorying while I am in self-quarantine. Cleaning drawers and closets. That's going to be me, freckle face. I am going to start cleaning. Steed started peas and kale in the ground, roasted marshmallows with the grandkids. Aww. Taking down an old chicken coop, see what I can use to build a better chicken coop. Yes, Patterson Homestead. Chicken coop's very important. Tomorrow, receiving ozone generator. We'll post my research for a small decontamination tank. Very good. Looking forward to it. Grooming Commodore LGD. Well, you have fun with that. You probably have to have a comb about that big. I have been planning to take over the world after the virus runs its course and leaves all the lost and scared people looking for a new emperor. Yay, they could have a worse one, Wes. Somebody else, this is totally off what I'm normally used to talking about, but somebody else pointed out that stocks fell and like rose and fell and rose and fell. If they continue to fall, if the stock market continues to go low, there's an old saying about buy low, sell high. That's how you make your money on the stock market. If stocks really are low, it would be a good time to buy them because they're going to go back up when everything recovers, and that's when you'd make your money. I'm no economic advisor, but that is probably going to happen. All right. Ultraviolet light kills viruses, Norm says, but you can't ultraviolet light yourself when you've got the virus, I don't think. Learning much needing skills like gardening and canning, sewing, medical scrubs, masks, and burp cloths. Judy, you are very skilled. Work at the hospital tomorrow. Pray for us. Sure will, Sandy, and thank you for your time. Moving to Oregon County, Missouri in 3 weeks in the Ozarks. Anyone know anything about it? Was an impulse buy. All I know about the Ozarks in Missouri is they're gorgeous. Cooking, everyone is eating like piglets. Spent time with the family, something I didn't get to do much, right? That's precious, Brother Chris. Already been vaccination injured. I'm sorry to hear that, over the bus.
You're pretty behind on your comments.
Yeah, I am, but okay, the last one I see is from Jolly. They will have to get me test results from Mike Adams' lab. If it's clean, I would consider, but my arm still hurts from months-old blood draw. Thank you for your time, Miss Pastor. Keep us safe and up to date. I am writing a prepper cookbook. I think it's a great idea, Wes. I think you should write that prepper cookbook and then put it out on your channel. I think it's a smart idea. I have property in Howell County, Missouri. Your neighbor. Oh, awesome. Get out in the sun or vitamin D3. Well, I have done that, except there's hardly any sun in our area. The area had a large flood and going to be setting up a rain catchment system. Patterson Homestead, that's really great. What is your thoughts on colloidal silver? Okay, baby, I've heard plenty of people say silver is antibacterial. There's even the straw. What's that dang South American drink? It looks like a bunch of chopped up lawn grass. Yerba mate, right, is a drink they drink in South America, and they drink it through a silver straw. Um,
In a bomba.
in a bumba. It's a,
Bomba. Sounds like bomb.
yeah, it's a round bowl thing. But
There's one behind you on
I know the point is that the silver supposedly is antibacterial, right? So colloidal silver, I've never used it, but people have sworn by it that it cures their colds and it takes care of all their problems. If it's antibacterial, then it should kill an infection. An infection. Like if you've got, some sort of bug bite and you've been scratching it and it starts to get raised up and have some pus in it and it's red, the colloidal silver should kill that. Echinacea is antibacterial. Garlic is antibacterial. Tea tree oil is antibacterial. So colloidal silver should work for something bacterial like strep throat or, like I said, an infection on your skin. I've never used it for that. People swear it works. Flu, cold, shalom, shield maiden, a flu, and this is a virus. So the only thing colloidal silver would do for you if you had this virus was to keep you from getting a bacterial infection also. So if you have this virus and your nose is running and all that, if you started to get an ear infection, if you put the colloidal silver in your ear, and I'm not having an ear infection. So that's what I think about colloidal. I have not tried it myself, so I don't know how effective it is, but it should work on something bacterial. A flu is not bacterial. All right, I would love to watch a series of you on the meals you are preparing and eating now. Not enough quality videos on sustaining prepper foods, in my opinion. Ozarks Prepared, we're not even breaking into our food stores yet. But let me just say this. There are wild edible greens out now, and I have onions that are called walking onions that self-propagate. And so if I were to start using, say, the rice and beans that we've got put up, I would probably be cooking the rice and then frying the beans. If they're not canned, you have to sit there and soak those beans and everything. But once they were soft, I would probably make some kind of fried rice with the beans, the onions, the greens, some eggs, because we have eggs, and some kind of flavoring, and just fry them all up together. That's probably what I would be doing with it. That's generally what we have for breakfast around here anyway, is fried eggs, wild greens, onion, some cheese sprinkled on top. And here probably in another week or two, we'll have to start grinding the wheat and I'll start baking some bread. But baking bread is a very simple process. You just look up a recipe and follow it. If you don't have any yeast, you can capture yeast out of the air with just putting out some water or milk with sugar in it, and it'll capture the yeast within 24 hours of leaving it out. And then you can make your bread. I'm having that as part of my dinner. Like cancer, it's the secondary infections that have killed my family and friends that have died. Can you sprout? Yeah, you should sprout beans too. If you have beans stored, you should sprout them because it's more nutritious. The rich use silver cutlery and utensils. Go figure. Well, it may have kept them from getting some bacterial infections. They also used pewter. They used pewter wine glasses and they poisoned themselves too. The rich don't have everything figured out. Apple skins also will get yeast, and apple skins, if you have apple skins, about a tablespoon of sugar, a quart jar of water, and you put them all in there together with a little bit of Bragg's vinegar, and just let that sit on your counter. In 6 weeks, it turns into vinegar. Pewter has lead. Right, and lots of rich people drank out of pewter and gave themselves lead poisoning. Rich people also used in the Victorian days a kind of green wallpaper. Came from Germany, was very, very, vibrant color, and was full of, I believe, arsenic. And they poisoned themselves in large numbers.
Are you transmitting?
What do you mean?
Somebody said they lost you. Teresa Jukowitz said, oh no, we lost them. Ask them if they can hear you.
Can you hear me? I lost service. I lost service like twice. But it says I'm connected. It is almost morel mushroom season, and I would love some. They're absolutely delicious, but they don't grow around here. Silver also detects poisoning in your food. What is, whoa.
Signal is good, Wes said.
What is the particularity of Bragg's
I
vinegar?
answered it.
Oh,
It has a mother.
yeah, Bragg's has a mother. It has the weird little, it's the weird little thing floating at the bottom of it, and it's what turns those ingredients into a vinegar. It makes it more acidic. Walmart was out of yeast, and I thought all yeast came from Walmart. Big Blue, come on. Lots of gardening today. Just got here. Oregon officially on shelter in place. Hey, Ann. Can I use apple vinegar in place of white for cleaning lime buildup?
Yes,
Silverstein.
it's
Yeah, it's the acidity.
base.
It's the acidity, and the lime stuff is base, and so yeah, you can use it. The only thing I would not use the homemade vinegar for, because I don't know how to test that it's 5% acidity, which is what you want when you can things, is to can things. But I would.
Said cider vinegar is alkaline.
No. All vinegar is acidic. Come on, cider vinegar, I don't think so.
I'm checking it.
Norm, I don't think that's right. I think all vinegar is acidic. But I would try making something pickled with homemade vinegar. And I would pickle it in a crock and just let it sit right on your counter.
Yeah, it's acidic.
Yeah, Norm,
pH 2 to 3.
what is apple cider vinegar?
Yeah, it's 2 to 3.
Okay.
1 is the most acidic, 7's neutral.
Yeah. Norm Holland says wrong. He just looked it up online. We shouldn't get into an argument about it. The pH of apple cider vinegar is about 2 to 3, which is considered mildly acidic. There you go. Bubba X. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been talking for about an hour. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Are you doing okay in the coronavirus so far? We are. Coronapocalypse! I've posted a couple of the Corona crafts that I've been working on Instagrams. I made a Corona basket. It's a big old monstrosity too, and I made that tile. I'm working on Pastor's tile. Paula Davis is fine. Steve Wilson is fine. Do you have people you're in contact with in your area also if you need assistance? I think that's probably a good question. The acid titration kit will include 20 ml syringe. Oh, yeah. Oh, and you must be a nurse or something to know all that. We're doing great. We're doing fine. See you in about a month or two. I'm counting on it, Vicki. I'm looking forward to it. But you might have to be quarantined. Praying and talking to Yah a lot. That is a perfect answer. We're all good in the prepperhood. PNW Viking is close. Excellent. Same for Fajaling. Lockdown here, but not enforced hard yet. Good. Y'all let me know if there's Squatch in Ozarks. Not a fan.
There is.
What is Squatch? Are you talking about Sasquatch?
Yeah.
No! Get out of it. Although apple cider vinegar contains more alkaline nutrients such as potassium, calcium and magnesium compared with white vinegar. It's not enough to make it alkalizing. Very good clarity, Bubba. So we were both right. Norm, it has alkaline stuff in it. Just remain calm, stay clear of the zombie hordes. Yes, we're doing okay. Sugar Creek, Homestead of Tennessee. Excellent. 3 feet of snow in the backyard, 10 on the side street. Only seeding is possible now. But I saw in your video that you had tomatoes that you seeded indoors. It's in the works. Thanks. Yeah, you can start your seeds now. Yes, there are Sasquatches in the Ozarks. I've seen them myself. There was a guy named Sasquatch here in the Ozarks, but he's not here right now. Going to keep checking back. May God bless you all. Thank you, Ann. Tomato seeds are sprouting. Perfect in weakness. Excellent. I thought about that the other day. It's right now time to be starting tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff for us. Yes, Sasquatch are in Missouri and Arkansas Ozarks. No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I'm a
I showed
Sasquatch
you
disbeliever.
2 trees yesterday, bent by Sasquatch.
Alkalides are great. They are. Potassium, magnesium, and all that. Awesome things. Good for you. Wear silver. Silver will keep the Sasquatches away. He said his name was Earl and he had a 40-acre corn patch. My girls are starting herbs. Hopefully they will start. I picked some of my herbs today. I picked a oregano that grew from last year. I picked chives that I brought down 7 years ago. And the hyssop, which is very much like rosemary, is available, and so is sage. I thought it was Bigfoot down there. Sister Kay been feeding them apples. I travel around with the Sasquatch. Yeah, that's the one that's been here. C103. That's the one I'm talking about. Our ancient hominid remnant think you are right. All I can say is my brother, hang on, Bitty Boo, what'd she say? My brother seen something that scared him and he dropped his gun and the dogs beat him to the house. He wouldn't go get the gun without my dad. And pastor swears are around here. They will steal the silver and not kill you.
He won't get a chance with me.
I've got my 2 big dogs. I'm not worried about it. They're going to bark if anything weird happens. Or sleep next to the wood stove is what they normally do. Everyone speaks 556. All right now. Behave yourselves. Ugh. Any predictions, you guys? Is this thing going to get really bad? Commodore looks like a Sasquatch. It sure does. It's a big old dog. We have the abominable snowman up here. After showering a shave, you can't tell them from any other bushcrafter. Yeah, that's true. Never feed the Sasquatch. Let's pray no war ahead. Yeah, right? Because sometimes after big emergency events like this, there are wars when people are hungry and economies are crashing and whatever. Yeah, I can get behind that. 458, so calm. I fear that 1 year from now, everyone will probably know someone who didn't make it. Yeah, that's a very sobering thought, Bubba X, but it's probably true. And they were talking on the news about a family in New Jersey who had already lost 4 family members. Oh, how awful that had to have been. I think it will be long and drawn out, but not like Italy. Great YouTube video idea to bring out hater Sasquatch load. What ammo? You are such a sass sometimes, honey. They will always come together, these 4. No, I don't believe it's going to get bad. Lampkeeper, I hope you're right. 45 to 60 days is my prediction until they turn the masses out in to get reinfected. I hope it doesn't work that way, but it could. Work in retail management, it's been pretty rough. I bet. Pastor, would you stop having side things going on? I
Yes,
swear
ma'am.
you hijack every single live stream. I work in retail management. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the possibility. I did videos on the flu, and it's not a joke, and it can be very, very serious. And I really, really pray that this is not as bad as it could get, because that Spanish flu was just devastating. Devastating. 50 million people dead, they think. So I hope we're nowhere near that. I hope our modern therapeutic drugs and modern personal protective equipment will help us keep this thing from being as bad as the 1918 flu. Sound effects. See? Hey, there's Chasing Life. Shalom, sis. I thought I might have missed you. Hopefully that doesn't bring your attention to it being tons to end. Time to end. Unfortunately, they will send people back to work too soon for the money. That won't work on me. I'll be staying home as long as possible. I want to have a drink with PJ. Well, do you have whiskey right now, Norm? You could have a whiskey where you are, and he can have a whiskey right now, and you would be having a drink with him. Sláinte. God bless us, everyone. Amen. 3 waves. Let's hope not. A malaria drug is being worked. We're talking about the quinine, and I asked Pastor about that because that's another thing. I think they stopped producing it naturally a while ago, and now it's a synthetic version, and he said it comes from limes or something. Everyone, good night, y'all. Good night, Shield Maiden. I think we need to stay ready and trust that if God wants us alive, we stay alive. And if he wants us to stop breathing, we stop. And if we are ready to be alive, it will suck less for us. I agree. People in retail are just about heroic to be working through this. Thank you, Sugar Creek, and all of those in retail. Yeah, can't imagine. What about a contest? Where did adult beverage at a secret location with the foxes? See what you started? Jerry said he's having a scotch. Sheepdog Patriot said shalom, shalom, shalom. Taking a slug in 5 seconds. Cheers. Which one, Jerry? They used it on a guy in Florida. Yeah, and Trump seemed very excited about it today in his daily brief. He was talking about that drug and then one other that I can't remember the name of, Ramacifir or something like that. So it must have been a really good result. Well, here. No, I won't do that. Thank you. Lafroig 10. Good night, Fox family. Good night, all. Shalom and Chasing Life. Quinine is in tonic water. Not anymore. It used to be. That's why in the tropics, the British used to drink gin and tonic all the time because it was helping them fight malaria. Have a good night, everyone who is leaving. Trump press conference scared me. Too eager to send people out all about the economy. Garden Girl, he is we talked about this already a little bit earlier. He is very interested in the economy because he was a businessman, but there is a point to that because if your economy stays strong, then your companies can do things like make the ventilators and the masks for people, and there will be people who are still getting a paycheck, and the whole thing doesn't just collapse. Because what could happen if all business stopped is the economy collapses, nobody's getting a paycheck. Nobody has a way to pay for medicines or buy themselves food or anything like that, like the Depression, and he wants to avoid that. So it's an important item for a president to look at. But he also talked a lot about the medical stuff. And so I don't think he's just a one note guy. I think he's got more than one thing going on. Shalom on your mountain. I enjoy bourbon or tequila, gold or caramelized only. Self-storage going strong. Bummer for me, though. They all work for the Fed, unfortunately. But they've turned most of the power over to the states. And I think that's the way to handle it. He is worried on many levels. Right. And again, that's why he's turning over a lot of the decision making to the states, because that's what he should do as the head of a federal republic, is to allow the states more power so they can handle stuff locally, because each state's going to be different.
He supports their action.
Yeah, he supports them, and he's, giving aid to different states, but a state like New York has different needs than, say, Alabama.
Hey, Susan Bryant's husband made it home. Hallelujah.
Hey! Wow, hallelujah, Father. Thank you for that. We were praying for that. Woo! I'm so happy for you. Thank you, Father. Hallelujah. That's awesome. Trump left the power with the states. He couldn't turn it over to them. Well, right. But, presidents will power grab and try to take that power, and then you get the whole, battles and media and blah, blah, blah going on. Chasing life. Amen. That's right, Susan Bryant. Super excited for her. Chasing life, how is your garden? You've come into this discussion kind of after everybody else. Have you got stuff? Shalom, y'all. I'm off to bed. Shalom. Federal Reserve is what I meant. We would be fine if all debt was forgiven and start over with sound fiscal. Well, and the other thing about that is Big Blue, and I've said it many times in my videos, the Federal Reserve is not federal. It is a private organization, and the power to print our money is supposed to be with Congress. That's constitutional. And for whatever reason, around 1914, whoever was president at the time turned that power over to this Federal Reserve, and that's how we started getting into debt. I used to fall out of planes, but can't do it anymore. At least he's trying to follow the code. Chasing life's husband must be a truck driver. We appreciate y'all both praying with us. The day he left Guyana, they decided to cancel all flights going in and out. Y'all got him out. Yes, he did. Hallelujah. Woodrow Wilson. Yep. Thank you, Jerry. Shalom all. Hey, Amy, your husband was listening in just a little while ago. Shalom. Oh, sorry, Susan Bryant's husband. Okay. Whew. Chasing life. How is your garden? Susan Bryant, how are you doing otherwise? You've got that great news. Oh, you're both here. Okay, shalom. You were saying you're getting water, cashman up. How's your garden doing? And do you guys have any livestock? Do you have any animals? Milk money. Okay. You can get cheese free, freeze dried. Probably sold out now, but keep an eye out for
Free
one.
cheese? Free blocks of cheese? What?
No, freeze dried. I've been starting seeds, Sister Kate. I was not planning to still be in this location for this growing season, but due to the situation, it seems like I'm going to be longer than expected. Yeah. I may have wanted to travel and go visit people, but I'm not doing anything. The same way they in 1940 set up the Federal Reserve. Can they do that with the military? Can they privatize the military, honey?
No.
I don't think so, no. No.
Of course, we could have a long discussion about PMC.
Right. Private military stuff did raise up like Blackwater, but they're not federal, government issue. Night, y'all, night. Sister Vicky just bought turkeys, ducks, and chicks. Yes. We are on cloud nine, living the quarantine life. Very prepared. Good job. They already are filibustering trying to get Green New Deal stuff in the bill. That's what the Democrats are up to, huh?
Yeah.
You knew they would, though. You knew they couldn't just pass something that was going to help out some companies and help out the people. You knew they were going to try to get in there some kind of legislation on God knows what, some social something or other.
Funding Planned Parenthood.
Funding Planned Parenthood or supporting the communists, leftist, whatever wing of the whatever party in whatever country. Planned Parenthood funded, right? I've got more chicks. Wait.
And I got ducks, but I want turkeys next.
Okay, did you get ducklings or did you get grown-up ducks? Essential worker just getting home from an RN's house who was sent home early for not being essential. Well, that's kind of weird. Patriot plumber, long time no see, buddy. It's crazy here in the city. They have lines for paper. They also reduce HR, which calls for a 30% tax on ammo and firearms. Oh, I'm not surprised. They want to do that. You know, Aloha Prepper, that reminds me, several people that we know in our area that we know personally who have talked to us personally who are in law enforcement have said that the local jails have been releasing the non-prisoners, that petty crime burglaries has gone up a bunch.
4 cars got stolen in the county next to us this morning.
Right, 4 cars got stolen from a dealership in the county next to ours. Just stole them right off the lot. And so personal security may end up being an issue for people. I don't know if every state is planning on doing that or if every county is planning on doing that. But I can see also where a county may not be ready to have a jail with every prisoner having virus. They don't have the medical personnel, they don't have the staff, they don't have the medical supplies to deal with them. And so instead of having a decision to be made about a situation like that, they just let them all go home because that way they don't have to be responsible for them if they wind up getting the coronavirus while they're in jail. And you know also that probably the prisoners who were in jail, if they were incarcerated through this thing and they did get corona and maybe they got very sick or died, their families would sue the legal system. Their families would sue the county and you would have a whole mess right there. And so to shortcut those problems, they have just allowed these nonviolent criminals. I mean, you saw it, I'm sure, if you were watching the international numbers, that Iran released 54,000 prisoners, something like that. So it's, have you guys heard anything about that in your area? I've seen similar stories. Another reason I love being in the woods now, it's such a blessing. I've seen similar stories, but nothing personally as far as crime rate rising. These people need support when released on the regular schedule. Throwing them out in this crazy time is not a good move. Urban Prepper 34, shalom. I was just talking about certain counties and releasing nonviolent criminals. That's for Urban Prepper 34 if you just signed on. I think there must be some kind of giant ducks. Wait a minute. We got 9 bantam chicks, 4 ducklings, 6 white turkeys, and 6 other chicks. I hid you? Oh no!
You gotta unhide her.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you, Biddy. I was just trying to...
You hid Biddy.
I hid Biddy Boo! Come
Biddy.
back! Come back!
Let
She's
her
a
out.
moderator!
Let her out.
I'm trying. It says view deleted message, but I can't even click on that.
Look how she did you, Biddy Boo.
Oh, so rude. So rude. To my friend. Why? Why did I do it?
I can't undo what you did.
I can't either. It's not responding while I'm touching it. Biddy Boo, can you just put your message up again? I'm sorry, I touched it wrong.
You like blocked her.
What?
Yeah, you blocked her.
How is that
You
possible?
were messing around on your phone.
Well, it won't let me unblock her.
Yeah, it will.
How?
You'll have to do it later, I guess.
Good gracious, how rude is that? And Weetree's not here to tell me how to...
Betty Boo, you were serious when you told her you wanted her to isolate.
Oh my gosh. Dollar General had to have one of their trucks guarded while he parked at the store overnight. 18,000 pounds of toilet paper were found in a stolen truck in the next county. Prisoners are being released. They don't have to worry about recidivism, I guess. The LEOs have a lot to deal with right now. They probably feel as though they can get away with more during this chaos. Now that's social distancing. Yeah, but it's unintentional. I did not mean to ban her. Oh my goodness. Confirmed 0 on ARs yesterday. Oh, that's good. Okay. I would think the amount of abortions would go down due to it being elective. That would be awesome. Shedding some blood gone. Yep. It's getting early release as well. Oh my gosh, you guys are terrible. All right, I'm going to try one more time to touch that message. Okay, so I got through there.
It's the thing that says unblock her.
There we go. There! That should have worked.
All right, you did it. Biddy Boo, you're
Biddy
free.
Boo, you're free. I'm sorry I had to quarantine you for a minute. I just pushed the wrong thing. Please come back.
We love you, Biddy Boo. Don't run away.
We love you, Biddy Boo. Oh boy, TP is such a hot commodity these days. That's sort of funny that criminals are going after it.
Of all the things to steal,
Of all things to steal, I must have the toilet paper. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, man.
Boo got the boot. She's back.
Is she back?
Yep.
Thank goodness. Biddy Boo. So rude. That is...
Now she's not listed as a moderator.
How is she not a... All right, let me see if I can make you a moderator. But if I touch it and then she disappears, I'm going to be really sad. All right, come on. You see how incompetent this phone is. It's just ridiculous.
Give Biddy Boo her wrench. Give Biddy Boo her wrench. Give Biddy Boo her wrench. Give Biddy Boo her wrench.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't do it on that one. Maybe next time she... Here we go again. She needs her wrench. Oh my gosh. Okay. Add moderator. There. Now she is a moderator. Not only... Yay! You're not
Biddy Boo
booted.
is armed.
A non-violent offense. Let her go. Oh, God is gracious. Biddy. Oh my gosh.
I think Biddy should ban somebody just to make sure her wrench works.
You need to shush. You're just over there making all kinds of trouble. She's been wrenched. Oh my gosh. So Biddy, you made a comment about your ducks. I had... Look at you guys clapping for her. You said they were some kind of super large duck. Would you please tell me what kind of ducks you got? And were they grown-ups? Did you buy them? I think this Passover is going to be interesting. Jerry, you are 100% right. Oh, lamp keeper, thank you. That is so sweet. I want to hear about the ducks, but I also think you're right about the Passover because even if you were in a congregation, as the people who lead a congregation now, there is no way I would urge everyone to get together for that. But if you read the word and it describes the actual keeping of it, it says get a lamb for your house. And only if your lamb is more than your family can eat together at one time that you invite another family to help you eat it.
And then you're supposed to stay in your
And
house.
then you're supposed to stay in your house. So I think you can do Passover in your home yourself. You don't necessarily have to do it with a bunch of people. I think it's going to be interesting because try to get out and get lamb.
I'll probably do a teaching on that.
I have no clue. Wait a minute, what they are.
I just know in 2 weeks they're 5 times bigger than when I got them.
Wow. Okay. They are sounding like. I'm putting the blood on the doorpost and staying in. There you go. And
Angel of death will pass over you.
I think everything is required to be adapted in these times. Will be fine with him. Me too, Prepper Frog. As long as you're not. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. As long as you're not doing more than is required. Excuse me. And also to understand that when you keep the Passover, you're not keeping the actual Passover because that already happened and Yeshua fulfilled it. You're keeping a remembrance of the Passover. And so I think you're right. Sounds like our ducks twice the size in a week. Patterson's, what kind of ducks did you get? Maybe they're just eating good. I've got white pecans. I really want some khaki Campbells. And I've actually got one who's having foot problems, so I'm not happy about that. I'm treating her for bumblefoot, but she didn't really have the infection. Wes, if you're still on here, have you ever seen a bird with bumblefoot where there was no infection in it, just, the dark spot, but no actual black hole and pus coming out? And also for the niacin deficiency. So we'll see. Ours officially begins at noon tomorrow, which seems somewhat strange to me. Why not midnight? I guess it's good for those that are unprepared. What, Chasing Life, what officially begins? Size set assorted. Florida medical community given a heads up that lockdown is imminent by Peggy. Okay. We are sorted here. No big deal. Scotland will flourish. Muscovy. Muscovy are they're large, but they're supposed to help seal a pond if you have them in your pond. Lockdown imminent in Arkansas. Been watching feather development closely to help identify. Pecans are white, so I'm sure as ducklings are probably yellowish, but eventually when the feathers come out, they're just all white. We had the sweetest one-eyed khaki Campbell, but still, we had a flock of runners. Won't get those again. Runners are supposed to be great egg layers. I don't know that I've ever had any. There is supposedly an order in North Carolina, but they aren't enforcing it at all. Muscovy tastes better. Okay. No deaths in Arkansas yet. Not exactly convenient that we are getting slammed with snow this last evening for folks to run out. Snow through tomorrow. At least the roads are awful. No money left for treating the roads, I guess. Oh, sorry to hear that, Chasing Life. Where are you that you're getting snow? Brother told me at 11:59, Ohio travel for essential services only. Ugh. I wonder why some state governors don't do a lockdown by county rather than the whole state. Many counties are very small. That's a really smart idea.
Yeah, it's just like the president
state. Many counties are very small. That's a really smart idea,
Yeah, it's just like the president doing it, right?
right? That would make sense, Silver Stallion. Gonna try to put birds on my YouTube in the next day or two. Awesome. What is your YouTube? Is it Person Homestead? I'm gonna have to start looking in on there. We had snow today too, but it should some good raising chickens book question. Raising chicken flock the modern way. If it's still out there, you'd have to enter that into Amazon. Also, the Back to Basics by Reader's Digest book is a really good homesteading book, and it would have chickens in there as well. Virginia asks tomorrow essential services only. But the people living in small counties shop in larger counties. Not necessarily Aloha Prepper. There are Dollar Generals everywhere.
Maybe not in Hawaii.
Got a tour of land in the woods today. So is it Patterson Homestead? Is that your YouTube channel?
Yeah, if you just click on whoever name it is, that's their channel.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. All right. Well, it's been online for an hour and 36 minutes, and I'm getting a little hoarse. So I think I'm going to sign off. Pulled up all my shrubbery, replacing them with blueberries. Donna's home place, that's a smart idea. Proclamation in Pompos, Florida to stay in for COVID-19 in Flagler County. Whoa. Homespun independence. Wow. Shalom to our traveler. I'm getting ready to sign off. If you haven't done so, hit the thumbs up. Hey, Sergeant James. Patterson, hopefully putting building up tomorrow. What kind of building? The coop? I will enjoy being locked down for a month or two. Me too. I'm feeding my face. Biddy Boo, I think I'm getting ready to sign off. I've been on here an hour and a half. We want to see PJ. He's resting just to say hi.
Hi.
Shalom and good night. Thanks for the chat. Donna, someplace saying I'm doing the same thing. Nothing but edibles and inedibles are going. Okay. Please let your hubby say goodbye too. Have a blessed evening. Yeah, I should you all. Thank you, Sandy. That's a really nice thing. Thank you. I'm so glad I caught the last half. Many thanks. Hopefully do more live streams. I plan on it. It's actually easier for me to do a live stream. It's hard for me to do videos right now because I'm busy. What did I do today? Hang on, let me think about it. I was weeding in the garden. I was planting in the garden. I was tying my goats out. I took my little chicks from in the house outside and then brought them back in again. Rode the four-wheeler around. What else? I was really busy outside all day long. Oh, I was chopping weeds down. Had uncovered part of the garden that had black plastic and got in there and dug out a bunch of stuff too, covered it back over. All those things it's really hard to video that and do the thing at the same time. So that's why you're not seeing like a daily video from me, because I'm actually out there working really hard physically. Like my hands right now, if you could feel them, they're really rough. And then I will do a plug for the tool that Brother Tim sent me. It's called a Homey. And if you just put in H-O and then M-I, Amazon is selling like 4 different versions of it. It's about $15 and it's an excellent, it's like a trowel, but it's a lot better. And it makes the whole thing a lot easier. So I'm taking advantage of it. I'm out there, chopping down all kind of weeds that would take me forever to get rid of with this Homey. And And so it's too physically hard for me to do that thing and then, be tearing into the dirt with my hands. Some more time for crafting, possibly. Maybe to make more cool items for Israelite market. That would be a blessing. We are really enjoying the magnets and conversation about them. Many thanks for those. Chasing Life, thank you so much for ordering them. If you saw the picture at the beginning of the live stream, that is a tile. That's one of the crafting things I'm doing right now. It's a tile that I'm painting, hand painting, to match Pastor's favorite coffee cup. And it's one of the things I might be trying to put out in the market. But I would have to have a photo. Like if you have a favorite cup and you'd like to have a tile that matched it, you'd have to send me a really good photo and then I could see if I could paint that up. But I should be doing the Hebrew alphabet also. Like my daughter gave me a really good idea to get that started because I had started them. I'd done two, the Alpha and the Omega, and I showed them to her, and she was like, "No, Mom, that's not going to work. You need to do it this way." So I need to do that, but I was thinking about that the other day because I made the basket. The basket's on my Instagram. I got that finished, and then I did I'm working on that tile. But I had a lot more time right there near the end of the winter, leisure time, right? I mean, we're quarantined, but it's garden time. And because of Shemitah last year, we have to actually get out in the garden and do some work. Oh, something else I was doing today was cutting back some more grapevines. So I don't have as much leisure time, even though we're in quarantine. I've got to have like peace and quiet and be able to concentrate on doing the art when I'm painting. So pray for me to have more peaceful time and then maybe I can get on those things. I've stocked up on a bit of craft items. I'll keep an eye out for more. You mentioned Hebrew alphabet. Can't wait to see what comes next. I also I need to get back in the Word and find another story in the Word that would inspire me. My last idea from the first set of the paintings that I did was the priest treating a building because he inspects it and if it has mold and so on. But I don't know if I'm going to wind up doing that. I think the alphabet will probably come first. Or possibly another story in the Word. Your kiwi seeds. What was the trowel called again? It's called a homi. It's Homi. And if you put in there Korean homi, then I know Amazon has like 4 different versions of it, and any one of them will work. Oh, thank you. Shalom and stay healthy. That's right. Keep that social distancing going. Keep eating healthy. Get your gardens in because the whole food situation may turn sideways. The LA Times did an article. I posted it in the community section where the workers that they normally have to help California bring in crops and take care of crops. And most of them come from Mexico on special visas. And with all these lockdowns, they are not going to be able to have workforce. And so they have, shortages in the California food market, which is a huge portion of items that are going to be near local stores. Things that are out of season, like lemons and limes in the middle of winter, and pomegranates around Sukkot, and all of that stuff are coming from places like California. And so your garden this year is super, super important. If you live inside, then have indoor plants, but you are going to want that extra fresh food. You're going to want that as this virus thing keeps going on. So I'm telling you, get into your gardens, plant them, take care of them.
Okay, thanks.
All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom, y'all. Thanks for swinging by. Bless you. See you next time. Shalom.